Good evening and welcome to Brittany, where Van again provides a neutral venue for a South Sea Islands and North America matchup. This time it's Fiji versus USA. Wherever you're joining us, a very good evening to you. Thankfully, the only thing that's been coming out of the skies during the day has been those 4 parachutists delivering the ball before kick-off. It is a perfect day for rugby. Both teams determined to finish their autumn tours with a winning glow, both having lost last weekend in contrasting circumstances. Fiji coming back with 14 men at the Millennium, USA capsizing in the second half at King's Own to Tonga. Both teams retained pretty much 2/3 of their starting lineups from those last run-outs. Fiji bring Nangusa in for his first start at 15. Backline with power and pace aplenty there. Josh Matavesi will be their general. His partner tonight will be Henry Senaloli. Campese Mafu's 1 week ban brings in Penny Revive for his second cap. The pack remains constant though. Rivolo's inclusion pushes Captain Ngera to blindside. 9 of that squad ply their trade in this country. Well, those Eagles working abroad are in the main not available to Mike Tolkien tonight, but he does have some well-known faces back in the ranks. Todd Clever returning to marshal the troops at 8. The only other change in that pack sees Olive Khalifi back from injury at Loosehead. The rookie second-row duo of Cullen and Peterson gets another outing. In the backs, Stratton Palamo returns to bolster midfield. Taku Ngwenya is ready to fly on the flanks, and there's a debut for Ronnie McLean. Big responsibility on the 29-year-old this evening, because he will be charged with kicking points from the tee too. So the countdown has happened and the teams step out onto the pitch, and you can see the locals giving their support to both the Flying Fijians and the Eagles this evening. It's been a long week for those Eagles since that King's Own match, but no doubt the appearance of Todd Clever will settle themselves in to what will be their toughest challenge of their autumn tour so far. The Fijians, well, maybe for the first time on their tour, they're probably going to be the favourites this evening, you would think. Well, before the action, a chance for both teams to bring their internal nationalistic passion to the boil, fired by their national anthems. So the applause is done. Now time for the anthems of both countries, starting with the USA. Well, the picture tells the story, doesn't it? Representing their country on the rugby pitch. A huge moment for all 46 players, as it will be by the end. There's John Lacey, a big match for him as well, with his Irish cohorts, Peter Fitzgibbon there on the left and Gary Conway. First up, the Fijians, though, about to fan their flames a little higher with their traditional chant, the Thimbi.
Right to my, right to my. Right to my, right to my.
Akapusi Ngyera leading his team in the Thimbi, as he will no doubt throughout the next 80 minutes. And the locals enjoying that South Sea Island flavour that, of course, the Fijians bring whenever they are part of a rugby game. Well, history in the making, of course, with the first whistle this evening, because with the IRB now rebranded as World Rugby, this will be the first test match under the World Rugby banner. Scott Lavala, who was captaining the team last week against Tonga, a very key cog in this American machine, and really going to have to be up to the task as that man, Shalom Suniula, once again filling in at 10 for the Eagles. So here we go. Both teams trying to build on what was contrasting final 40s last week, with the Fijians actually coming back to beat Wales in the second half at the Millennium. 7-0 they won that second half, but obviously wasn't enough to get the victory. By contrast, the Eagles actually having to concede 26 points, unanswered points, at Kingsholm. Having had a good first half, it really was great disappointment for Mike Tolkin's side. Bill Teal hits Craig Peterson to get the lineouts underway. Mike Petrie's box kick not going too far, but fortuitously ricocheting back into his team's clutches. Interesting to see how the Eagles set up, looking to get a lot of structure in their game and not allow the Fijians loose ball, which of course is what they savour whenever they can break out into their natural style.
9.
Sure, the Fijians are actually enjoying playing out in the open air. The last two games have been pretty much indoors. Certainly the Millennium Roof was closed last week, and when they were at the Velodrome with the new roof on, that was pretty much covered. Not completely, of course. So Phil Teal with his second throw, slapped back from his captain into midfield with Thretton Palamo. Just his third game back since breaking that foot on a Saracens training camp in July. There's Ronnie McLean, big day for him. Plays his rugby with Ealing Trailfinders in the UK, and now really looking to make the most of the opportunity in the 15 shirt, in the absence of several perhaps more high-profile characters. You think of the likes of Chris Wiles and Blaine Scully, of course, who are not part of the Eagles setup this evening, having appeared for the Eagles against the All Blacks in that historic game in Chicago. Part of the deal that they were allowed to play in that game, which was outside the IRB international window, was that they would be back with their clubs this weekend. Of course, several well-known faces, the likes of Samu Manoa, Cam Dolan, of course, both with the Saints, Northampton Saints, that is. Brett Thompson up with Edinburgh. Eric Fry now playing in Newcastle's colours.
Bind. Set.
Good solid scrum to start with from the Fijians, and there's Nandolo crashing the ball up, a real blockbuster of a centre, 6'5" and well over 19 stone, wearing the 12 shirt this evening. And already Fijians getting their handling into action. There's Henry Senaloli. Nakarawa, the Glasgow second row as he is now. Find him with his hands on the ball frequently through these phases for the Fijians. Good work from McLean, struggling his way up to the American 10-metre line. Slightly high tackle coming in there that John Lacey didn't have too much trouble spotting. A quick early word for Leone Nakarawa. John Cullen's footwork beating his opposite number on that occasion. Well, the quick take from Fiji and immediately inviting the Eagles to work again from their own half. Suniula hangs one high, doesn't really go far, and somewhat luckily heads off. Suniula, of course, one of the trio of Suniula brothers, although Andrew has had to be withdrawn fairly late in the game. So Lewis Stanfield is on the bench for the Eagles. But Roland Suniula, his elder brother, Shalom's elder brother, I should say, is wearing 21 this evening. You look at the previous fixtures between these two, and Fiji have taken the lion's share of the 5 games they've previously played. 4 wins for them, and just a solitary win for the USA 15 years ago now in San Francisco. Well, the music's starting up in the stands and the beat beginning to drive the game. There's Greg Peterson, 6'8" second row. Come out of the Waratahs setup in Australia. Now serving the Eagles. There's Khalifi. Khalifi actually got injured against Romania a couple of games ago, so the Eagles happy to see their loose head back. And certainly the set piece is somewhere they're really going to look for parity, if not advantage, against these Fijians. There's Phil Teal, had a short spell at Saracens this season as emergency injury cover for Scott Brits. I suppose he doesn't look too dissimilar facially from the South African hooker. And now back in Eagles colours. Quite a link, I suppose, between the Eagles and Saracens. You think of the like of Chris Wiles, already mentioned, Hayden Smith as well. Tito Lamasitelli, a young prop, is in their ranks at the moment, as is Threat Palamo, 12 this evening for the Eagles. Clever, struggling to get his team into the opposition territory, and in the end, conceding the penalty. For the USA because their skipper has stayed down. Let's just take a look. There's the scrum working its way. John Quill trying to get the breakaways a chance to move away. There's the tackle coming in. Difficult to see. It's the right knee of the USA captain. Must have been a knock from a Fijian coming over the top there, I presume. Thankfully, Clever is back on his feet. 31 years of age now. Such a rugby CV. Made his debut against Argentina back over 11 years ago. Since then, he's worn the colours of the Golden Lions, North Harbour in New Zealand, and now at the moment with the Shining Arcs in Japan. Have boots will travel. He's certainly enjoyed his travels, has Todd Clever. Tapati finds his man, and suddenly the Fijians are working off the back of that line out with Tikarituma, the Harlequin winger, coming off his wing looking for work, and Fiji suddenly getting through the gears very quickly. Nandolo throws it wide to Votu. Another big running winger in Fijian colours, so difficult to put down. There's Matavesi feeding Ravi. Again, Fiji with options and the advantage of the penalty. Matavesi, huge loop pass. Great pass from Matavesi. Unfortunately for him, Nakarawa couldn't hold on, but they will get the advantage of the penalty. There you see, as the Fijians got into the opposition 22, a noticeable change of pace in their play, and look at that big pass from Matavesi. If his second row would only hold on, then Ravulo was surely over for the first try of this game. As it is, it's going to be that man, Nandolo, looking for the first points, but they will come off the tee. Fairly simple 9-iron from Nandolo. 3 points on the board for his team. Nandolo, who managed 3 out of 5 last week at the Millennium. Some long distance efforts as well. He's got a big boot on him. No surprise, I guess, when you look at the size of the frame. With the restart to Matavesi, and the Osprey getting good distance on that clearance. Talk about big nights for players, and we suspect for Matavesi wearing the 10 shirt, a big chance to follow on from what was a very impressive performance against Wales. He recovered from injury to play against a lot of his teammates, of course, being an Osprey now. Say the line-out working well. Well, the take from Tikarituma, you could hear the call from his teammates going, let it go, but the left winger opting for safety. In doing so, has conceded the line-out once again to the Eagles. Going with a shorter line-out this time. 5 men. It's to the captain. It's a very well-oiled line-out that's working for the USA at the moment. Trent Palamo, a man from a very famous rugby family, of course. His father, Simone, great Arona Palamo, back in rugby union, having left to go back in many ways as a running back at collegiate level, University of Utah, then deciding to return to rugby union, and now making an impact both on club and country. I mentioned earlier he's with Saracens in the UK. A big, bulky backline player, 6'2" and just over 100 kilos. Back in 2007, in fact, made his debut against South Africa the same day as Mike Petrie, the scrum half, did. But when you look at the fact that Petri's now earning his 48th cap and Palomo's earning his 5th, you see the gap in his rugby CV. Over-enthusiasm from the Fijians, ceding possession. So, coming up to the quarter of an hour mark in this match, and just that solitary penalty from the Fijians. Certainly the amount of set pieces will suit the Eagles, you would think, so far. This time it's Scott Lavala, of course, plays his club rugby, what, some 300 miles from here, or Stade Francais. His teammates is actually on the Fijian bench. Waisea Nathalevu, the winger, is wearing 23 this evening, as and when he comes on. Fiji with no test wins in France since that Rugby World Cup in 2007, and of course they famously beat Wales in Nantes. So even though this is theoretically neutral venue, I suppose there could be a certain page written in Fijian history books for getting them back on the victorious trail in this country. Not quite sure of your French geography, I suppose I better just try and help you imagine. If you look at the map of Fiji as it sticks its arm out into the ocean, then Van is kind of in the underarm, near the armpit maybe. A port, a beautiful port with very much a student-led population from the university and loving their rugby. Hosted the Junior World Championships here 18 months ago. Obviously savouring the chance to stage top quality rugby. Indeed, John McKee, who's now heading up the Fijian coaching lineup, was actually here with the Australian under-20s. They certainly are very hospitable in their welcome to teams and everybody associated with it. Great drive from the Fijian pack to get the penalty. Eagles scrum just fracturing there. Matavesi, who came onto the international scene after that 2007, I suppose it was, Rugby World Cup. For many, it was thought to be the heir apparent to Nicky Little, the Fijian record point scorer, of course. Never really broke through as they thought he might do. And now at the age of 24, hoping that he's going to be able to show what he's about. Certainly shown the fans of Exeter, Racing Metro and Worcester Warriors what he can do. And now being charged with marshalling this match as his forwards try and batter their way through to Apati. Getting the penalty again. And the penalty count beginning to go against the USA on a fairly consistent basis now. They're going to have to watch that they don't provoke Mr. Lacey into yellow cards. There is Tuapati. His rugby now with Southland in New Zealand for the IGM Cup. There's a statement of intent from Akapusi Ngera asking Matavesi to give him an attacking line out. Tuapati hits Kababati, the little flick inside, beautiful Fijian DNA, wasn't it? Just didn't stick on that occasion. Let's take a look at that again. That was a delight to watch. Straight off the top of the liner, Seniloli coming in, little out the back door pass to Votu, I think it was, coming off his wing, but the Pepinel man unable to hold on that occasion. And USA have been warned if they didn't know what was coming at them on a nice dry night like we have here this evening. Once that ball starts to stick, it is very difficult to set a defensive line against these Fijians. Again, that Eagles scrum under pressure, and Palamo coming round to the short side to help them drive away from their own try line. Good, vigorous work. Somebody's lost a boot from the Eagles side, I think. Petrie having to dig that ball out. In fact, I think it's going to be Lavala. Oh, Lavala losing possession. Good job, he's a big man as he rescues that position. The Eagles can just draw a breath now. Ola Khalifi went down fairly hard there. As I mentioned, injured against Romania, and this is his first game back. He made his debut as sub against Georgia a year ago now. And in his 10th cap, you can see his value to Mike Tolkien. There's the man opposite him, and that's a solo. Improved his consistency over the last season or so. Actually made his debut against England a couple of years ago now in the autumn tour. The prop scenario, a little cause for concern, you would think, for both of these teams. Desperately trying to get some pillars of solidity around which their teams can work in the set piece in particular. Anthony Khalifi back on his feet, but you can see the strapping on that right ankle. End of the first quarter, just a 3-point advantage for the Fijians. Take from Nakarawa, Matavesi, passing out to Nicky Goneva. Made big impact in club colours. Goneva started this season with a hat-trick against Newcastle. And, visa issues which didn't allow him to play against France, but back in the lineup, making an impact, wearing the 13 shirt this evening. Played a lot on the wing for the Tigers back in the Midlands in the UK. Matavesi trying to put the ball in behind Ngwenya. Inviting his new fullback McLean to slam the ball clear, and that's a good clearance kick from Ronnie McLean. So the Eagles giving the Fijians a little of their own medicine there. Double ganging onto Goneva, but the ball quickly produced again. The flow of the Fijians, once they get the ball in hand and get that momentum going, it is so difficult to stop. Big men, naturally athletic, and, good handling to match. Conditions like this, well, they will be a team to be feared, you would think. Right now, the Eagles trying to get their attacking game into motion, but handling just falling apart at the key moment. Eagles had a very good first half last week against Tonga. Turned around at 14-12, and it was very much anybody's game. But then conceding 3 tries in 6-7 minutes in that second half, and the game was pretty much done and dusted. And there were some fairly heavy-duty issues that came out of that game, particularly in the scrum. Difficult time for Mike Tolkien and Justin Fitzpatrick, who is the scrum coach with the Eagles at the moment. His birthday today, so we'll just say a happy birthday to Mr. Fitzpatrick, head coach now of Seattle Saracens in the US. Again, another man with a revered rugby CV. A couple of periods with Ulster, of course, in his native island, London Irish colours as well, and Castres in this country, as well as 26 caps for his country. But now his nous being utilised to try and stiffen this USA scrum. Similarly puts in, it's clean from Matadingo. And again, Matavesi looking for that angle, and this time finding the perfect coverage. Cultured left boot of Josh Matavesi moves Fiji back into attacking territory. Phil Teal making his 11th consecutive start at hooker. 18 months off after Rugby World Cup 2011 in New Zealand. Now back with renewed vigour. Just to remind you, no TMO in place this evening, so the officials will have to make their own calls instantaneously. Macy was telling me he was refereeing an under-16 game back in Munster early on in the week, so great variety for the whistle of Mr. Lacey. Development officer with Munster, mixes with his professional refereeing duties. Squint throw from Phil Teal, fairly obvious to the outside hand of Scott Lavala. It's going to give Fiji what is a very prominent attacking position, really, for the men in those black shirts tonight. They are. This turf will take a good start. Last week, of course, it was under deluge really for much of the week and caused a few problems, but doesn't appear to be doing so this evening. Great floor on which to play rugby. Nandolo throws it wide, quite able to bring Timothy Nangusa in, but Voto picks up the pieces. Voto, 6'5" and 100 kilos, taking his team up to the 22. The forwards waiting, led by Massi Matadingo. Now plying his trade with Leon, and a regular starter for Leon. Thrown out wide. There is Nangusa. Timothy Nangusa steps inside to open up the try count for Fiji. Scored the try against France off the bench. Now making his first start of the autumn. He gets the first try on the board for the Fijians as we approach the half-hour mark. The Eagles unable to cover across, and suddenly the door was open for the Fijian fullback. Similar conversion for Nandolo from that earlier penalty. And suddenly it is the Fijians in double figures as we approach that half-hour mark, and you see just how dangerous they are. If the game breaks up, there is no finer exponents of that attacking opportunity than those flying Fijians. 22nd appearance. Timothy Nangusa, his 14th try. That is some strike rate, isn't it? To make an impact on this start. John McPhee must be impressed with the way that he finished that off so clinically. As Henry Seniloli again sends one up this time though. Running plane cannot take cleanly. Referee says play on, says it went backwards. As the Eagles try and dance their way away from their own 22. Fiji swamping the breakdown, but the ball's still there for the Eagles. Time clever. Back to Shalom Sunula. Mafadesi scans the options before inviting Nangusa to run again. And Timothy Nangusa on the hoop. Feeds out to Watasani Votu. And there is no stopping Watasani Votu. And Fiji suddenly have gone over for 2 tries in 3 minutes. And the game has a very different complexion. You see Nangusa, deceptive running style, picking out Teal in that defensive line. And once he was through, Voto on the stretch was never going to be stopped. Couple of tries in Pro D2, which of course Perpignan now are, having been relegated last season, and already a try this evening. Looks like the problem down there is that Nangusa, I think, has stayed down, and they're calling for the stretcher. Well, concern. Quite sure. I think that might be Timothy Nangusa as he went through to offload the ball on Watasani Votu, and that is desperately sad pictures for the 27-year-old fullback. Well, obvious concern in the Fijian camp, and every precaution being taken. Well, let's take a look. There's Nangusa coming through, the tackle coming in from McLean, and as the fullback fell, there must have been some issue with the way he went down. There he is coming through. Nothing wrong with the tackle, but not quite sure what the injury is, but it is obvious that it's of major concern to the Fijian camp. Waiting to come on is Jonathan Ralulu. Started at 10 against France. I wonder whether they would bring Arthur Levu on. Of course, he's a regular back 3 player. Matavesi, of course, himself has got the flexibility to be able to go and play in a number of positions, and it's possible that he might revert back. There's Talambula, you just see on the right there talking to Nandolo, who's of course the previous fullback being used this evening. A water carry, there he is. coming on to the park is Jonathan Ralulu. Now plays his rugby in Romania, along with a number of other Fijians. There is a growing market, it would appear, in Romania. Plays for Parallel Stanton.
Du côté fidjien, entrée du numéro 22, Jonathan Ralulu.
There you see Moses Raluni, one of the Fijian coaches, just at the front of that shot as he wandered out. Part of this new Fijian coaching committee. Of course, Raluni's been around for some while. Matt Cobain, the Wallabies lock, has been helping John McKee, as well as Alan Muir, the former Highlanders forwards coach. All in position earlier on this year and looking to make a difference before, of course, Rugby World Cup 2015. McKee, with such a varied coaching CV, coaching France and Ireland and England and Australia, of course, as well. And now looking to take the Flying Fijians further forward. Indeed, in his first match against Italy, they had their first win over a Tier 1 team since that Wales game. I'm sorry if you're Welsh and listening to this, but it was a seminal point, of course, for the Fijians. First win since then over a Tier 1 team was John McKee's first game. 25-14, that first score. Trying to just put in a structure which, of course, can accommodate the natural instinct of the Fijians, renowned for their open play. Now, trying to get the structure in play that will allow them to produce next year at that big event. Now, great applause from the crowd as Nangusa is carried off. The neck brace is on, so not quite sure the exact extent of the injury, but all precautions being taken. So Timothy Nangusa being taken for further examination, and if we get any more news, we will of course keep you updated. Bring the conversion round. But half an hour gone, and Fiji suddenly with those race of tries inside 3 minutes, putting themselves in command on the scoreboard. So important for the Eagles that they can react to those two quick scores, especially before half-time. Plays into the psychological mindset of both teams, indeed. The Eagles will want to get something on the scoreboard. Danny McLean is put out. Well, Gary Conway spotting that, taking them back. Again, the Eagles line out, working very effectively. Teal coming around to take control of the ball. Now breaks out Petrie, throws out into midfield, there's John Quill. Quill needs to keep the ball moving, but the pass to Cullen doesn't stick in the mitts. And there was an opportunity for the USA Eagles to react to that score. Great work from John Quill, good line, opening up that Fijian defence, but this pass here just not sticking. And they had numbers out to the left of plenty to see there. They know that they have to make the most of any opportunity. That was certainly a golden opportunity for the Eagles. Henry Senaloli now playing his rugby for Treviso in northern Italy. So familiar face to all those Pro 12 watchers. Replacing Manawatu this evening, so big chance for him to show what he can do. Talking big. There is Namani Nandolo, Crusader centre, trying to bludgeon his way away from the 22. Moment Tim Stanfield had managed to recover that, but it wasn't to be. It's going to be a line out, I think. Yeah, it's just there, so it's given a line out for Fiji. Five minutes to go till the break. 15 points on the board for Fiji. Quickly, Tavasi tries to put one up. Again, it's on the angle. Again, it's not taken cleanly. Tuma Ngwenya can take cleanly, and the knock forward came from Ngwenya. Back in Eagles' colours, of course, after an absence for some while. Scored on his return against Romania. Ngwenya in good form is a valuable asset to any country, of course, or club. Still plying his trade down with Biarritz, down in the Basque Country. Of course, with Eddie O'Sullivan now in charge, and O'Sullivan was the Eagles coach for Rugby World Cup 2011. Said Ngwenya has not got the try on the board so far this season. Suffered really from the way that Biarritz have played over the last few years. Given the chance, of course, he can do things. That pass went forward, but the officials are going to let it play as Guneva wrestles his way up towards... Oh, interception from Todd Clever. Great handling from the Eagles skipper. Now, can the USA manufacture something from this opportunity? There's Ngwenya looking for the ball, but Cullen didn't look up. Missed the opportunity to put his winger away on that short side. Well, it's hot potato at the moment, but there was an opportunity. The big second rower didn't have the awareness to look outside him, and Ngwenya had come off his wing looking for work. There he is, berating his teammates. Purchase for both packs under the feet, and safe and secure ball for Henry Senaloli. Again, Matavesi looking for that familiar kick, but this time he's over-egged it. Too much gas in the boot of Josh Matavesi, and he berates himself. Unforced error. Good take from Greg Peterson. Sets up with John Quill driving it this time. Well, a referee running a blocking line, and no real chance for John Lacey to get out of the way of that one. Lacey, of course, a former player himself, former Munster man. Played for Ireland A and for Ireland Sevens, but no chance with that one. You could have run 60 metres, Sarah, and scored that one. Good to see former players, of course, coming through onto the whistle. We always refer to Alain Roland as the only international that's transferred to refereeing, but the likes of John Lacey, Glenn Jackson, of course, as well. A few more former professional players as they are now, of course, transferring to the man in the middle, and that can surely only help the game manoeuvre to a better spectacle with a better understanding. Threat Palamo feeds Suniola on the rack. There's McLean. Born in LA but moved to England when he was 6. Studied at Loughborough University, mechanical engineering. Oh, lovely hands from Suniola. Quill offering on the inside. In the last minute of this game, just as they thought they were building it up, they really didn't want Khalifi as outside centre there, but still got the advantage of the kick. Now, what will Clever do here? John Quill, I think, has gone down. Just see how that happens. The pressure comes on the ball carrier. There's that lovely inside flip from Suniola. Look pass that opens up so many defences nowadays. Good confidence and trust, really, with your teammates. Quill back on his feet. Now playing at Dolphin in Cork. Looks like he's going to come off. Not sure whether that's a head injury assessment. Look to be any blood that you can see.
Mesdames et messieurs, sortie du numéro 7 américain.
Wearing the 20 jersey. He's going to get the briefest of introductions to the game as the first half draws to a close. So, a last gasp chance for the USA to get on the board before they head for the hutches. Phil Teal asking his pack to drive him towards that line. He's going. Sniffing success from this driving maul. The advantage is there. They're going to get the penalty at least. And are they going to... Yeah, there's going to be a yellow card. The first yellow card of the game. John Lacey going to his pocket and sending Tuatu Apati to watch the next 10 minutes of this game from the sidelines. So the Fijian hooker banished to the naughty boy step. The rest of his team have to try and hold out now with this last play. See John Lacey showing there that it was bringing down the ball intentionally. So they revert to the default position of the attacking, driving line out. I'm not sure that those backs are going to expect any ball coming out of this. Safe take from Lavala. This time smuggled back, and again it's Phil Teal. The American sat-nav is set on straight forward. The white line is there. Phil Teal with the ball in his clutches. Can't go this time. Petrie waiting for that ball to come back. Oh, it's been knocked on and the moment's gone. Well, the hesitation in the USA ranks has really hindered them then. Just to remind you, of course, the clock that you're seeing on the screen is not game time clock, it is a running clock, and of course with that long injury wait from Timothy Nanguta, we are going to get a little more play out of this first half than maybe we appreciated. Now the scrum is going to force Fiji to make the change with Sonia Kotu coming pitch. It's a matter of who's going to go off. Normally a back rower. Confusion in the Fijian ranks as to who's going to leave. And the call is for Matadingo, I think, the number 8. Here's Koto. Von Hooker. Carry on. Started the last 2 games against France and Wales. Experienced operator, 34 years of age now. Knows all about the international game. See why he's come on as well. It's just before that play that the maul was brought down. Cynically so, said the referee. And that's what the yellow cards were introduced for and are issued for. So Fiji down to 14, but you can see there Nandolo coming onto the flank to make sure it was an 8-man pack, and that was the last play of that first half. Well, the Fijian 1-2 knocked the stuffing out of the USA with those 2 tries from Nangusa and Voto. But the Eagles are still in it, albeit not yet on the scoreboard. Half-time here in Van. It's Fiji 15, USA 0. Well, it's not been an easy year for the Eagles thus far. Their 8 games so far, they've won 3, drawn 1. Significantly, of course, beating Canada in Sacramento for the first time for a long time. But now, to get themselves back into this game against the Fijians, they're really going to have to maximise any opportunities that they get. And that certainly wasn't the case in that first half, few and far between as they were. And we saw the nature of Fijian rugby so deadly when they're given the opportunity, with that try from Timothy Nangusa and then followed up very quickly with the double hit. Makasoni Votu coming through. No further news yet on Timothy Nangusa, but we'll bring you any news we get as soon as there is word from downstairs. There's Ronnie McLean, the Eagles' new fullback, making his debut, of course, this evening. Shannon Suniula, a key cog now wearing the 10 shirt, normally a 9, of course, but in the absence of a few familiar figures, really having to fill in to that playmaker role. Palamo, big player in every sense of the word. The Eagles looking forward to the return, of course, of Adam Siddle, concussed against Romania. And Todd Claver will be looking to just galvanise his team now, particularly at the beginning of this second half, as the Fijians step back onto the pitch. Akapusi Ngera, Clever's opposite number, extolling his team to get into gear as quickly as possible. Don't forget, down to 14 men with Tuapati in the sin bin. Ngera, of course, the only survivor of that historic Rugby World Cup 2007 campaign, and more such an important character in the camp, let alone on the pitch. This his 42nd appearance for his country, his 16th time as captain. Well, there's the restart, and there's Taku Ngwenya bundling his way forward. desperate to get himself into the game. Now the good news is, as you will see in a minute, if the Eagles work their way away from their own 22, is that that man's opposite number is back on the park. There he is, wearing 15, Timothy Nangutha. It was an HIA, a head injury assessment, we're told from downstairs. He was winded. So, thankfully, there is the try scorer and try maker, of course, of Fiji's tries, and now back on the park. So, relief all round. A very good evening wherever you're joining us from for this World Rugby broadcast. It's just gone 8 o'clock local time here in Van in Brittany. I'm Simon Ward, bringing you commentary on this final game, of course, of the autumn tours of these two teams. Looking to finish with feel-good factor to take them through into what will be a huge rugby year, of course, in 2015. The next real opportunities to play for their countries will be the Pacific Nations Cup. I think that's in July. Certainly the USA will be playing in San Francisco and then on the east coast of Canada. As will Fiji as well, Samoa and Tonga. The outside shoulder, beautiful line, and there is a try from Seamus Kelly. And what a good try it was to start this second half. Well, I said earlier that the Eagles had to make the most of their opportunities. I'm not sure they were expecting one that early in the half, but what a great finish from Kelly. His first try as an Eagle. John Quill setting it up, outside his man Votu, and then stepping inside at pace past the despairing arms of Nangutha. And Seamus Kelly with the first score of this match for the USA, and the first score at the beginning of the second half. Now, are we going to see a swing in this game, as these two teams experienced in their relative matches last weekend? Ronnie McLean gets his first points on board for his country as well. And what a start from the Eagles. Well, the outside centre plies his trade, of course, in the colours of the California Golden Bears, showing great awareness and balance to keep up the pace on that move. Now, who is going to react the better to that? At the moment, it's Khalifi bundling his way up. Sanula brings Ngwenya in. Oh, the pass just finding McLean out of alignment with his winger as the back three trying to move to this near side channel. But you can see Taku Ngwenya desperate to get involved. There he is coming around the back. But the pass to McLean, well, the fact that he had Matavesi in his face probably didn't help. Fijians actually began this tour in camp in Blagnac, which the Toulouse area is very close to the airport, and made the most of the fact that the Georgians were in close proximity. Did some work on their set piece, particularly the scrummage with the Oaks, Haig's men. And indeed, of course, the Welsh game was imbalanced with that sending off from Campazzi Marfu, but in the French game, they actually had a perfect return from scrum and line out, 7 out of 7 in each facet. Free kick quickly taken by the captain, Akafusi Ngera, setting a focus for his team to attack from. Second rowers eager to get their hands on the ball, as are the front rowers. There's Penny Ravai. Ball has gone loose though, and Mike Petrie trying to spark a counter-attack from inside his 22. The exit strategy of the Eagles working well as McLean hammers the ball clear, but the Flying Fijians are going to live up to their name, and there is Nangusa, the Montpellier fullback, threatening again. Such an elusive runner, doesn't seem to drop his pace either. Nakarawa sets the ball back and then spins out of the tackle. Well, loose play from both teams early in this second half, and surprisingly so perhaps. Of course, it is in the DNA of the Fijians that they love that loose play, the broken play that allows them to show their natural handling, pizzazz if you will. Of course, athleticism as well. That is what the USA Eagles will not want to give them this evening.
Balance, Blackno, balance.
So the 7-man forward pack of the Eagles, of the Fijians, I beg your pardon. Trying to produce quick ball. See the pressure coming on. Driving across, says the referee. And Akabusingera asking for points from the tee. Let's just have a listen to John Lacey here.
Calm down. I've asked him to power down. Okay, he's got to wait till the scrum half puts it in. I'll make sure he puts it in quicker. But he's got to wait. He's got to wait, mate. He's got to wait. He's got to wait. Early drive.
The drive from Khalifi is going to give the opportunity for Nemani Nandolo to just add another 3 points. 2 from 3 in that first half. But he's missed that one. Well, plenty to ponder for Nemani Nandolo. We talk about rugby cultures, and of course he comes from a huge rugby culture. His cousin, Lottie Takiri, another cousin, Tabita Kuridrani, the Australian international. Now, sin bin is done. To a party returning to the fray. I think, presumably, Sunil Koto coming off. There is, I won't say the disgraced hooker, that's a bit over the top, but you know what I mean. Back from the sin bin. Restart from Sean Suniola. Scott Navala up there to snatch it. You can see Matt Trouville on, wearing 19 now. Quick show of the ball from Palamo. Now the USA trying to go through a few phases here. Before the box kick comes in from Petrie. Well, Cullen being told to stand still, but he didn't obey. But the Fijians working their way across to that far flank. Takura Otuma, Matavesi, and then you see Karawa offloading to Nicky Goneva. Goneva throws it wide, and Botu is going to stride in for his second try of the game. Well, Fiji at its best, such awareness, such capability, and getting these fans here in Van on their feet and loving that. There's the big second rower. Look at that offload, beautiful. And then Goneva with the pace and power to step and go, and then the huge miss pass to his right winger. And Voto gets his 5th try in Fiji colours as we approach the 10-minute mark in this second half. seems to have got the touch of the kicking yips at the moment. I guess Josh Matavesi might be utilised at some point as a backup kicker if he continues. Yeah, the signal there may indicate that it could be Matavesi's go next time round. Great take from Scott Lavala. Good commitment from the Stade Francais flanker.
Off feet now too.
Eagles immediately getting themselves back into attacking territory. There's Lavala again, happy to do the hard work. Simiola feeds out to Kelly. Try scorer, desperately trying to get the ball back. Contact area a bit messy there.
Stay away.
So a good kick from McLean. It's going to allow the Eagles to set up once again inside the Fijian 22. Phil Teal, who for the most part has been very accurate with his throwing. Just a couple of squint throws in that first half. And again, it's Lavala the target.
That's 1-9.
Moriakiola giving possession back to his hooker. And peel off with the charging John
Assist
Cullen
release
coming
now.
through.
Back foot, back foot.
Need quick ball to open this Fijian defence up. Kalamo trying to step inside the tackle of Nandolo. Not advisable, it has to be said.
No, no.
Matt Truville. Well, ole go the crowd as Phil Teal lets the tackler move. The big miss pass from Siniola almost opens the door for Tim Stanfield.
Option.
So close. Stanfield turning into a bit of a try-scoring machine. 2 tries in consecutive games since making his debut in that New Zealand game, and almost a bounce of the ball getting him on the outside of Vota there. Of course, it's Fiji that will open the Rugby World Cup 2015 festivities September the 18th next year at Twickenham against the hosts, before they then go on to play Australia and Wales, both at the Millennium Stadium, before they finish at Stadium MK against the last team to qualify for Rugby World Cup 2015, Uruguay. So that's the targets ahead for John McKee.
Stay there.
As the prop sniff the turf, forcing the referee to reset, I think.
Down. Come out here, boys. Okay. I have a call for on you.
There wearing 20 is Nemaya Songeta, Fijian, well, normally second row. He's got the capacity to play in the back row as well. In fact, I beg pardon, that was Domenico Wanganimpuroto, who is definitely a back row, has been wearing the 6 shirt for the last 6 games for Fiji. Been given a rest in this one.
Let's go.
A good sized crowd here in Van. Best part of between 6,000 and 7,000 people coming out once again to support international rugby. charge comes from Voto. First man up, now the ball back to Matavesi, who slams it downtown, and there waiting is McLean.
Stay 12.
Delicate kick from the fullback, but just offering possession back to Seniloli. And that's a very good kick from the scrum half. Just going to go over the line, just too far. But forcing the restart from the Eagles. The distinctive look of Threaten Palamo gets going forward. The man taken in the air was there. As Navala came through, officials happy. And it's Tikaru Tuma setting the ball back for his scrum half. Matavesi throws in the midfield to Tuapati. Good strength from the hooker. As they keep working to this near side. Nangutha. Good work at the contact area from the Eagles. Who was down there? Well, Quill was there, Kelly was there, and also, would you believe, the winger Tim Stanfield was there. Good team work around the breakdown area. And there he is, the brief flanker, Wangani Broto, coming on to replace, I think that's Matadingo, heading off. Navala quickest to react to the ricochet. Palamo pounding through that Fijian midfield. Get quick ball to that far side. Now can McLean unleash Ngwenya? Taku Ngwenya puts his ears back, foot to the floor, and Taku Ngwenya is over for the second score for the Eagles. Well, we've been talking about unleashing that man. Ask Brian Habana what he's like. Those memories from the 2007 World Cup still keep him awake at night, no doubt. Taku Ngwenya showing there is no substitute for raw pace. And the speed with which the Eagles open things up on that right flank, McLean moving it on quickly. And look at Ngwenya go. Scored a try against Romania on this tour. Now he's scored against Fiji. And suddenly this match has gone back into the balance as we look towards the hour mark. There's the conversion, simple conversion as it was from McLean. Looks to me like Nick Wallace has come on to the loosehead berth where he started last week against Tonga, wearing 17. There he is, as if on cue, the Glendale Raptor front rower securing possession for his team. 6 points the difference now. As the hour mark is about to tick over, it's going to make a very interesting final quarter. Difficult kick that Akapusi Ngera could not get his hands to. Suddenly the wind is in the Eagles' sails, and you just wonder if they could get another score now, how it would test the morale of the Fijians. Of course, they've had two big games already in this tour, against France and against Wales. As I mentioned earlier, the first match really that they've come in as favourites. Next score has huge psychological advantage, you would think, as the match moves towards its final line.
Set.
Good scrum from the Fijians and getting the penalty as well. Senaloli congratulating his pack.
Hands in the scrum. Perfect, Gar. Gar, show roar it. Tell me after what happened. Yeah. Get a number, though.
Tuapati checking his call and hitting his target. Kavabati, the Tasman second rower, brings it in to allow the forwards to set up that driving phalanx. Now they move it out. Congestion in midfield is not going to help them though, and indeed looked like a breakdown in communication from that Fijian midfield. Matavesi shakes his head and wonders, but Fijians their own worst enemy on that occasion.
Crouch!
Clean strike from the Eagles. Matt Truble though being forced backwards.
Stay on. 7, hold, use it!
The clearance from Mike Petrie. Back come those Fijians though, this is what they love. When the white line is not tight enough nor straight enough, then the Fijians will find the kinks in that defensive strategy. Good work from John Quill. The Eagles' open side has had a cracking game. Petrie tries to thread it through for Ngwenya, but Fiji immediately looking to open this game up at pace. Votu slaps off one, drives through another.
Get away, 3. And release, Tactor!
America's defensive resilience being tested now as Matavesi breaks through. He only has his hooker up in support at the moment. Quick ball though, opens up to Kavabati, but he loses it in the contact. Now, can the Eagles work something here? McLean trying to set up position, hoping that Ngwenya was going to appear outside him. Unfortunately, he'd moved over to this near side, so the forwards will have to do a few more hard yards. A fairly aimless kick allows Ngera to reignite his team's attack. Votu again seeing more and more of the Perpignan Flyer. Had half a season, less than half a season really, with Exeter. Had a few issues with his visas and it didn't work out for him, so he moved across to Perpignan. Great work again from Quell. Winning his 10th cap tonight for the Eagles, and value for money from the open side. Working so hard in the breakdown. Scott Navala now having taken over the captaincy duties in the absence of Todd Clever. And there you can see front row replacements for the Fijians. Sunia Koto back onto the park, and Taniela Cordoy coming on. It's the usual timing, of course, give or take, you had 5 minutes. Around the hour mark. Don't know whether you heard that from the officials, but just aware that this game is beginning to come to the boil a bit. A few niggles appearing in amongst the forwards. And this match still very much in the balance. Quarter of an hour to go. Phil Teal with the line-out throw. Again, safe and secure for the Eagles. Palamo comes through as crash ball Charlie put to the floor by Manganu Broto, but the ball's still there for the Eagles. Suniula glides through the gap. Suniula has a man inside, but is intercepted. Oh, what an opportunity for the Eagles has gone amiss. Could Suniula have gone there himself? McLean trying to re-spark the attack. Glorious movement from the Eagles playmaker. Flag out on this near side from Peter Fitzgibbon, but just have a look at this. This is beautiful awareness. There, could he have got himself? Oh, the pass was there. Seamus Kelly thought he had try number 2 in his mitts. And on such things, our match is decided.
Shouldered him. Okay. What a recommendation for that? Okay. Okay.
Well, a dangerous tackle being highlighted by the officials. I think it was Voto coming through on threatened Palamo. Some worried looks from the Fijian camp.
14.
And it is Voto being called out. The double try scorer is going to have a yellow card. Let's have a listen to the referee now.
He's in front. You cannot do what you do with a shoulder into the face. Yellow card is for you. Off you go.
So once again, Fiji are down to 14. This time it's the wingman that leaves. And can the Eagles make the most of this opportunity? Here you can see it's Palamo comes through, not really involved with it. Almost getting in the way, but not. But then you see Votu coming through, and, well, coming through with his shoulder. And in some cases, he may be lucky to get away with yellow rather than red. There's Palamo, oh, blasting through the tackle of Angera. And suddenly, the Eagles, sensing opportunity, McLean busting through the tackle. Now they have to execute. Good work from Greg Peterson. Up to the 22 go the USA. Moikala using his bulk. Back they come with Teal. Now they've got to make sure they execute these passes clinically. Kelly straightens the line up. Good work from the outside centre, but the whistle has gone. Crossing, says the referee. Disappointment, but you can just see what the Eagles are thinking right now, because with Fiji again down a man, if they keep that ball moving, they can find the space. I think it was Nick Wallace on that occasion. Here's that moment again. Oh, that is an elbow through on the chin of Palamo, and I have a feeling that Watasana Votu is going to hear more about that after this game. Little down through from Seniloli.
9.
Plenty of time for McLean to catch the ball and draw a few breaths. Helping his team by kicking that towards the likes of Tanielo Koroi. Into the final 10 minutes of this game. Just 6 points the difference between the team. Just to reiterate, in case you're just joining us, Fiji down to 14 men for at least the next 6-7 minutes or so. Ngwenya showing good strength. Look at the leg drive to get him out the tackle. There's Palamo, more obvious leg drive from the big inside centre. Oh, Seneloli just coming through to pull that away from Mike Petrie. So, 4 changes. There is Nemanja Songeta, another Biarritz man. So, of course, a clubmate of Tako Ngwenya, now in opposition as he replaces Kavabati.
He's out colour guard, you have to.
Critical moments now in this game. Fiji just holding and hanging on to their lead indeed.
Crouch. Mind. Let's go again.
The referee John Lacey not pointing the finger on this occasion. Trying to get good even connection and engagement at the scrum. Just get the feeling Fiji quite happy to have a bit of time to catch their breath. Looking around, the body language is not brilliant, it has to be said. And the penalty goes to the Eagles. And Fiji feeling under the cosh a bit at the moment.
3 downward pressure.
Manasa Solo is the miscreant on this occasion. Now, what's the call from Scott Lavala? Asking McLean to put him in the corner. And this USA line-out has been fairly efficient thus far. Another change for Fiji. This time it is Naithalevu, Asea Naithalevu, the Stade Francais wingman coming on. Who's he replacing? It's that man Nandolo. Not had the happiest of occasions, Nandolo. And the Crusaders winger comes centre, making his way off to the adulation of the crowd, a crowd that now looks on to see whether the Eagles can work position and maximise this man advantage. Phil Teal, got to be careful. Quill takes over control of the ball. Referee says they've got to use it. Well, they're coming around offside on that far side. Surely they are. John Lacey has his arm out. It's going to be another penalty to the Eagles. Petrie out to Lavala. Advantage still being played. John Quill, what a game he's had. Setting it back for his scrum half. Suniula waits for the power of Palamo. Bundled over to this near side touch. They're going to go back for that earlier advantage. And Fiji are going to have to be careful here. Their elasticity in defence is really being tested.
Number 19.
And some of the French fans told me before, Usa could be in the ascendancy here. The Eagles are about to fly as McLean sets them up with another attacking line out. Discipline the call from referee John Lacey for Fiji. Composure the call for the USA Eagles. Lavala, the captain, takes securely. Quill takes control of the ball, and the forwards try and select forward gear as they drive towards that line. Quill just being splintered off by Ngera Still there though. And again they come, this time led by Greg Peterson. There's the Tongan lump that is Mate Moekiola. Sets it back again, Suniola. Feeds Kelly, going around the periphery to the try line, but if it works, it works. And Kelly has shown what elusive running skills he's got. Again, the forwards happy and eager to do the hard yards, but Nick Wallace loses the ball, and Fiji hack the ball away. Well, all the pressure there from the Eagles, but in the end, handling errors just upsetting that attacking flow.
Leave that one go.
So another Eagles lineup, but this time it's on the 22. Fiji working overtime to keep out their opposition right now. Palamo, great handling skills from the Big 12. Suniola trying to dance his way through. It's a turnover ball for Fiji, and they will be after this. The alarm bells ringing in the USA camp as Fiji flood forward, and Ngwenya can't take cleanly, gets it at the second bite. Good strength from Taku Ngwenya, ball coming loose, but coming loose on the USA side for McLean to slam it clear, but doesn't find touch. Here comes Akapusi Ngera. Tries to sit Stanfield back down. Good resilience from the winger.
Tackle assist release.
Wangani Broto sets up the target once again as Seneloli tries to get the ball out to this near side, but only finds props. But what a prop he finds. Penny Revai. Well, that's what Fiji brings. It doesn't matter what number you've got on your back. You have those running skills. There's another one. Oh, Nikki Goneva losing the ball in contact. Well, the entertainment is wonderful. It's just the finished product that isn't quite there as Votu comes back onto the park. He finds strewn bodies desperately searching for oxygen. What handling. And Nicky Goneva will be furious. In fact, it was good work there. You might have seen the hands of Tim Stanfield. There he goes. Just dislodging the ball from the grasp of the Leicester Tiger. Well, substitutions going on left, right and centre now. As 18 bodies, there's the latest one. Say Kolotai. There's Fiji 19. Now, in preparation for these games, you unearthed some wonderful stats, and here's one you might like. Nemaya Songeta actually broke Jonah Lomu's shot put record, age 16 at Wesley College. Now, maybe it was a long time ago, but to have that on your CV, you're going to boast about it, don't you? I've beaten Jonah Lomu at shot put. Well, he'll be hoping that he's going to beat USA at rugby in the course of the next few minutes. As Manusa Saulo is helped from the pitch. His team still in front, but only just, but now they are back to 15 men. Don't forget that clock is a running clock, not a game clock, so there will be a few extra plays, you would think. There's Nemaya Kanatale on at scrum half now for Fiji.
Matt, you good, Matt, you good? Crouch! Bind! Boys. Okay.
The Eagles,
Stop.
of course,
Time off.
look at their
Just stay where you are.
calendar
Okay,
now,
that's the last
which has
warning now.
Pacific Nations
Okay,
Cup, as I
hold your
mentioned,
weight, hold your weight,
in
and we go
July.
through the sequence.
We're hoping to have
Okay,
home and
no,
away
don't keep
games, friendly warm-ups against Canada, before they then open their account against Samoa, more South Sea Island opposition on September the 20th, and then Scotland, South Africa, and then they finish with Japan. The Brave Blossoms under Eddie Jones will be surely a match they target for victory, perhaps above all others in that group. They're targeting victory in this game though, even though they're going to have to work their way up from their own 22. Turnover ball will not help them. Kenatale trying to swerve his way through. Fiji in opposition territory.
No.
Kodoi sets it back. There is that man Songeta. Made his debut against France at the age of 29.
Tackle, move, White.
Oh, they look to the short side, a little subtle flick inside, but the ball again goes loose, and Tim Stanfield is thinking about running 100 metres. Oh, that was a huge hit coming in there. And the ball's come loose. Now, offside is the call from the officials. Just wonder on that hit that came in, I think it was from that man Kodoi wearing 18 there.
You have time for a line-out.
Time for a line-out, says the referee. There was the hit. In fact, it wasn't. It was Sunia Kotu, the replacement hooker. So, last play of this game. The real test for the USA Eagles. Can they keep the ball and get themselves up into an attacking position? First job done, taken by John Quill. Surely, for many people, the man of the match today. Stanfield comes round, throws it wide to McLean. Done much wrong on his debut, Ronnie McLean. We'll be pleased with that. Quill and the forwards getting the handling together, but Matt Truville losing it in the contact. And now Fiji will just be looking to get this ball out, surely. Ball is knocked forward in the contact. The final whistle goes from referee John Lacey, and Fiji have held on to victory, but my goodness me, only just. Voto with the brace of tries for the South Sea Islanders added to Nangusa's try in that first half, putting them into a commanding 20 points to 7 lead. But then great response in the second half from the Eagles. Seamus Kelly and Taku Ngwenya getting the Eagles into very good position, and this huge crowd here at Van really appreciating the international rugby that has been set before them this evening, I beg your pardon. Brittany enjoying their rugby fair that has finished with Fiji the victors, 20 points to 14.